Last month, I reviewed my favorite pieces from Sezane for late summer, and by popular request, I'm now going to do a fall one. And I do mean by popular request because it's mind-blowing to me, but you guys set a record for the amount of sales for one video that I've ever done. And so I believe that now we're moving into a cooler weather, and so we're gonna need some pieces that transition very well for this time of year. If you think about it, we're still in summer, and there's some really hot moments of the day, especially midday, or different activities that we're doing, like going to an orchard or a winery. But then you might have some chilly moments too, like if you're going to have a coffee walk in the park in the morning, you're gonna wanna bundle up a little bit more. Or if you're gonna have a nice evening with friends, then you might be eating outdoors and you really might be feeling that chill, and you still wanna look super chic and do amazing things outside. So I've got about 20 pieces to share today. I'll be running through them a little bit quicker, but I'm gonna leave links down to everything down below. Some of them have been gifted by Sezane because I'm working with them today as my sponsor, but I have purchased several of them myself, and these are the cream of the crop in my opinion, so let's get started. The first piece I want to share is the Paulo Sweater. I believe that having a really thin sweater to be able to layer with is going to be excellent, but I also appreciate that when you take off those layering pieces on top, that the sweater looks amazing on its own. This is one of the most chic ones I've ever seen, and the buttons on the sleeves definitely feel like they add some history to the piece, like that mysterious woman of like, who is she? And why I feel that way is that these are like officer buttons that have been gold plated, so they have some weight to them. They don't feel like plastic. I've spent good money on military coats that are just made with like plastic buttons. And Sezane, let me just say it now, if you haven't watched one of my Sezane videos before, I am a fan of their buttons. Every single shirt has its own unique button to it that I feel are amazing and just something that I don't see a lot of other brands doing. So that's something I really appreciated, and they are real buttons, so you can undo them and style them in unique ways if you want to. Overall, I felt like this was a great basic because then you can have those little details on them that make them a little bit more statement. A wonderful thing to style with that sweater is this beautiful trench. This is the Scott trench in the color camel, and I got it true to size. I have a different size that I'm gonna get to in a second, but this is great if you want that like perfectly tailored look to your jacket. It also can be wonderful for petites. It has raglan sleeves, so you can see that that's moving upward, but you're not losing the real estate of the shoulder because you've got these button cuffs or buttons on top as well as buttons on the cuffs. One really interesting thing about this, as somebody who collects trenches, is that a lot of times you have issues with the belts because they either are attached and you can't style them with different belts at any point, or they are not attached and they fall out. So what they did for this jacket is they put this little button here where it can slide around a bit, but it's never going to fall out because it can attach to the belt loop in its own unique way. So you can switch out the belt if you want to, or you can leave it there and it's not gonna fall out on you. Next is the Trudy jumper. This is something that I got in extra small, which is true to size for me, and I'm so happy that Sezane is working with smaller sizes lately. And so for this, I could tell that this is something that still is very oversized and roomy, so you can wear this and it feels very cozy and chic at the same time. These stripes along here and the button detail along this shoulder or neckline is going to make it feel very much elevated and very on brand for Sezane. The buttons are a little bit hammered. You can undo one or two of them if you want to. This would also be excellent if you have a fuller chest because there's lots of room to work with in here still, and I do believe that with the proportions, with the design of it, it would look absolutely lovely. This has taken me a few times to say, but this is the Bettany Cardigan. It's not Bethany. But it is so lovely. I love the crochet detail along here, along with the buttons. They are crocheted as well. So it's got this beautiful, like, grandmother detail level that only a loving grandmother would give you. And honestly, Sezane, I've received their packages and I've received brands at a similar price point received those at the same time, and there is such a difference in the packaging and the level of quality of their pieces compared to other brands, to the point where I have considered not working with other brands just because they aren't living to this example of just all of the detail and the craftsmanship and how everything is sewn together. It's not like haphazardly done. It's just a work of art, and when it ships to your house, it just feels like it's from a friend that loves you so much. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. And I also think that for this piece in particular, it has a very like structured look to it, but it is something that I like to style so far with things that are tucked in. I like to use shapewear just to keep things like this that are a little bit bulkier, to have that be able to tuck in seamlessly underneath my pants. And I also think that this would be a wonderful way where you can layer pieces. Because it is a cardigan, there's going to be a lot of styling ways that you can do this. Next is the one that I'm wearing, called the Jane shirt. It's in a beautiful like flannel that just feels like so good to be able to wear this fabric again after months of spring and summer. And I also am not sad about it coming in this beautiful tartan. It's got a blue and green design, and so I can already think of all of the different colors I'll be able to wear this with. Not only can I wear it with blue and green, but brown would be so lovely, and it's just gonna lend itself to easily being able to be versatile in my closet. I also love the form of it because of the way that the side ruffles are. It creates a little bit of this like hourglass shape, and you can be really fierce with these ruffles if you want to. You can style this open or closed because it has this really nice high neck. And other than that, I would say that I just really appreciate how it's got the loose sleeves that you'd expect from a flannel shirt, but it also cinches really nicely at the ends. A lot of times if you just get a regular flannel shirt, then it's not necessarily form-fitting, and this is a much more feminine take on that. One way to style this shirt is with this wool jacket that I've had for about a year now. I've already obsessed and talked through all the ways that I love this, but one really redeeming quality about the wool jacket is the length. Because a lot of times a jacket that is this like mid-length will hit right at my widest point, and this one goes just a bit beyond that, so it is something that still is very lengthening. Usually I have to live with cropped jackets or ones that go all the way down past the knee, and so this is a wonderful option to be able to have something that's a bit more on the casual side. Again, suede is perfect for fall unless it's raining, and even in that case you could use it as a mid-layering piece if you want to. And having it in this like chore jacket form with the big pockets makes it so easy to be able to feel just effortless and comfortable and cozy, and it has that, you know, suede smell, which is very lovely for this time of year. And the buttons have extra buttons on the other side just to be able to make sure that these buttons aren't going to fall off, which I'm just so amazed at that level of quality. With this outfit, I wanted to style it with a bucket bag, and this is the Farrow Bag. It's excellent because it isn't too bulky, and it still works really well as a statement piece with this beautiful design of having that crocodile print on the leather. I also thought that because of this, when you have a statement bag, even in a neutral, you can pair it with so many different pieces. Like if you were to style a whole black outfit or something that didn't have any brown in it, it's not a big deal. You can still style it with a bag like this, and it's gonna look so lovely and perfect for fall. This wouldn't be a Dearly Bethany video without a fluffy white blouse, and I don't think it'd be a Sezane haul either without one. I love how this ladder design on here moves from being there and then having more of a concealed one, and then having this beautiful detail in the front, and then going back to the ladder design and then to this concealed one again. Now, what I really like with this when trying to find one for fall is that you're going to have a lot of jackets on, so the part that's going to be seen the most is this detail here. That one's a lot more concealed and modest than the rest of it if you want to just use it as a styling piece for that, because this is a very light shirt that you can wear underneath those pieces. The other thing about this is that it gathers at the neck and it cinches in the back with a little button, so you can it wasn't very hard to put on myself, but you can attach it there, and then all of this just sort of like flows or billows out so that you have that extra detail in combination with layering pieces. Absolutely lovely and a wonderful piece for fall. This Zig leather jacket has been one that I've had my eye on for years, and finally I have it. I'm here ready to review it. It's a size 34, which is a 2. I almost got the 0, but this actually worked out quite well because other moto jackets that I've had, I remember I always get a size 2. Just having it be a more stiff piece is going to be wonderful to have a little bit extra room, especially for layering. With that said, I didn't feel like the sleeves were too long with this size. I felt like it was a really comfortable fit, and I love all of the details in this as far as the little buckles on the sides. All of the zippers are wonderful, they're solid, and they all have real pockets, which is important when you're spending good money on a beautiful like suede piece like this. Moto jackets, by the way, or leather jackets, they're all going to be essentials and very timeless pieces, especially if you take good care of them. So this, I think too, will just patina with time, and that is going to be an excellent look as well. If you love a Henley, this is an elevated version of that basic. Why that is because you've got all of these beautiful little inlay details here, which makes it an excellent piece to layer with. But also, I love the button choice for this. It is something that feels homey and cozy as a fall piece, but you can also style it very easily if you want to leave that open. It really depends on your, the outfit that you're trying to style in that moment. The sleeves are comfortable and sort of a stretchier weave. So that is something where you can easily pull up the sleeves and it's going to feel comfortable and effortless. And I believe that this is going to be a piece that, if you take care of it, would really stand the test of time because it is just going to feel more and more lived in as you wear it. On top of it, I recommend styling it with the denim wool jacket. I won't go on about all the details that we saw in the camel version, but this is something that is excellent for those windy or breezy or cold days where you just feel like an autumn day needs a good denim jacket. Now the quality and the weight of this is what I find to be the most significant, because in other brands that I've tried for a denim jacket like this, you don't feel that same presence of the drape or the way that it just sort of moves. The fabric can be very much more durable and yet not bulky or cumbersome, if that makes sense. I think with a cheaper version, you might find one that doesn't have the weight to it. It probably is a little bit flimsy and doesn't style or sit very right, and I can definitely tell a difference in the denim weight for this. And then also you got all of those beautiful details as far as the craftsmanship and the minimal design. And why I like styling it with the Henley is the button is so similar. It's just sort of a nod at how you have styled an outfit with very small details that really make the outfit come together. Next is the Chloe shirt, and this is in a beautiful ivy, and it's also silk. So between the fabric being a little bit on the sheen of having that beautiful silk, you also have the color that just comes to life, and you get the high and low notes of the shadows and highlights there. But overall, I would say that this is going to be a versatile shirt because you can wear it open, or you can just button it to the top, kind of like the shirt I'm wearing, and have that beautiful collar be the feature. This is also great for styling with jackets because you've got all of the detail right here and around the collar. So that's really where all the focus goes. I was actually just talking with a fellow YouTuber recently, and they were saying how they love fall styling being centered around silks that you can layer with, and that I was just like, that is so true. I love the feeling of this because it isn't going to be a sweltering fabric to layer with, as silk is just a very cooling fabric in nature. For a tonal look, I styled it with this beautiful Scott trench that's in this khaki green. So it's much more of a muted green, but I think that it really complements it well if you're looking for a piece to go with the ivy. This just is a little bit more of a sophisticated look to pair it with than the traditional camel. But if you are going to go with one trench this season, obviously the camel color is the most expected and timeless of the bunch. But this is so excellent because you've got sort of military elements in this in general, and so having that khaki color for a trench, absolutely lovely, perfect for those menswear pieces that you can have this time of year. And then the lining is very beautiful as well. So you're working with different greens, which can be so much fun for this time of year when you're working with more neutral colors as fall tends to have. Then you can really work with just the highs and lows of one color and celebrate that. You might notice that this one's a little bit baggier than the one I tried before, and that's because this is one size up. You can go with an oversized look for a trench if you feel like it suits you really properly, and that also lends itself to styling with thicker fabrics as you move into colder weather. Sticking with the green theme, this is the Salina Blouse. This is technically in the color khaki, but it's a little bit different than the khaki here, which is much more muted. This one is a little bit more vibrant in my realm of neutrals. But I do love to be able to style green, which just is one of my favorite colors to work with. In the back, they've got this tortoiseshell button, which is so lovely, and just having this lace pattern is excellent as well. Some of you have been asking about how to style sheer clothing. I've covered that a bit in the past, but you can always work with camis. You can work with just really nice layering shirts underneath if you need to stay super warm. Otherwise, you can work with nippies, and that will knock out any color and people just really don't notice. This also has a lot of lace details along the armholes here, which again, I like to bring some emphasis to my shoulder line. So if you want to do the same, then this is a really good option. On top of that, I'm adding this wool jacket. It's the last wool jacket of the video, I promise, but you can tell that I really love this style. It's very much more something that suits the way that you want to move in a fabric, which again, I've covered already, but you can tell that it's a really good solid staple in my closet, and whenever I can find one piece that works for me, I am very willing to buy it in another color or fabric, because if you get the cut right, I feel like everything else can just fall into place. So with that said, this is going to be an excellent one to style with. It's got the buttons similar to what's on the denim version, and actually, now that I think of it, it's a little bit different in the color of the button on the camel one, just for reference. But they all have that like tortoise shell design on there as well. So it can be excellent for working with those green tones, and you alone would know this, but you've got that tortoise shell on the back of the green shirt, and you've got that here as well. So just a little way where you can feel put together. I can't imagine a fall essentials video without having a good denim shirt, and so this one is very much on the classic realm. You've got that classic pocket here along with the collar. Everything about this is going to be that standard shirt that everybody should have in their closet. For the buttons, these are snaps, which is really nice to have for this time of year. The buttons here are this beautiful like white and dark brown that is going to be excellent for styling and just having that attention to detail underneath different jackets. And overall, this is a Tomboy shirt, which I have in different fabrics from the last video that I did. So the Tomboy shirt is like their classic, essential, like signature shirt, and they always try new fabrics and colors. So it was excellent to be able to get this denim, like very medium range denim, very timeless as far as a good fall piece. Next, I wanted to add a neck scarf because it might still be a little bit too warm for full knit scarves, but having a little bit of a scarf detail is lovely for this time of year, and the pattern on it just looks so beautiful. As far as just thinking through, someone must have actually painted this design, and it is so lovely. It's got like every color on it. It's called Fall is Blooming, and so this is an excellent piece to accessorize with. There's so many ways that you can style this. Around your neck, obviously, but there's other ways too. You can use it as a bandana or as, a headband. You can style it as a wristlet or like a bracelet, if you want to, or you can tie it around your bag. Like, there's so many ways that you could use this, and it's just one of those pieces that I like to be able to have as heirlooms because I want to be that cool aunt one day and be able to like hand these down and just, I don't know, I have an aunt that had a Givenchy scarf, and I'm able to own that now, and like it's just something where I think of her when I see it. So think about that when you are creating a wardrobe for yourself, because one day somebody is going to be able to think of you through it. Next is a piece I've had my eye on for a good bit, because I just think of fall and I imagine shirts like this. Something where I could be on a horse on an equestrian farm, or being able to just think about ways where I could wear this and feel very feminine and part of the harvest feeling. I don't know, like when I see those grasses that move in the fall time and I see those like more wheat colors, I think of that for my clothes. So this is beautifully embroidered. It just has this open design here, which sits above the chest, and then that goes into the arm work. On the back, it's got a beautiful button line here where you can button up at least to like midway and then reach and get these yourself or have someone else get that for you. And along here, the neckline has these really flat pleats, so they're gonna sit very upright on you, but then they're scalloped, so it's not too harsh or cumbersome or anything like that. Overall, this is a thicker fabric, and in my job, the fun part is seeing how fabrics change per season. So the fabrics that I would have seen last season are going to be a little bit lighter and airier than the ones that are going to sit a little bit heavier now. And then as they release their fall and winter lines coming up, they're going to be working with things that keep you much more warm. So I still have some merino wool pieces here, and also just those like thicker weighted denim and all of that. So it's fun to be able to experiment with that. And as you're adding pieces for each season, you can really tailor it to work for where you live. This coat really intrigued me when I saw it on the website, and to be able to see it now in person, it is such an experience. Like the fabrics that are here, it's got the lining that you saw on the trench before, but then on the outside, it really has a looser sort of weave to it that then they have added this like extra fuzzy detail into. And so it's a very beautiful design up close. Obviously the buttons steal the show. I really do love the design of that. And one thing that was going to be interesting when styling this is, because I'm petite and get very easily overwhelmed by bulkier pieces, I wasn't quite sure if this piece would work, but I am very happy with not only the way that it sits, but also just to be able to have it to cuddle with. It's like such a feeling to me that I love for this time of year. Especially if you get a little bit of like seasonal depression, this is such a like hack for your brain to be able to feel comforted and supported without having to wear like sweatpants and sweatshirts, you know? So if you're looking for something that is chic and still very cozy, this, along with some of the other cozier pieces out of this collection, will make you feel like a dream. I really want to keep this piece. It is a little bit higher on the price point, but I do plan on keeping it around, and then obviously taking good care of it, because of just it is a delicate color. So I do love this one. I also love the version that has the stripes on it on the website too. They're both contenders in my book, but this one is a little bit more timeless, I think, and something that is a little bit more flattering, just because you don't have any of the sideways stripes going down the whole body. I also like the length of this. This is actually a really good length for something that has this bulk to it, because then it's just going to drape and land at a good spot on your legs. Lastly, I wanted to add a dress, so I chose this Gwen dress, which is this beautiful denim. I really do appreciate styling dresses and skirts for fall, but there's sort of a technique in how you style them to where they look sophisticated, and this one is an excellent starting point. I love how fitted it is and how it creates this like beautiful, flattering design here with this A-line skirt below it. And the other really great quality to this is that you can accessorize with a belt, and I really think that that's important for adding a belt to pieces for fall, because anytime you can add a little bit extra hardware or accessories, it just works so well. So I like to style this with a belt right here, but I also like to style it with a belt on the outside too, of like a jacket, like the Will jackets, and that's just a way to cinch a bunch of fabric at once. So don't miss out on belt styling this time of year. And other than that, I would say that just being able to open this up sometimes is really lovely. Otherwise, you can button it all the way to the top. This is one of those pieces that I could see myself owning for 10 years. It is just so lovely, and the quality is there, of course, and it does have that heavier weighted denim, so you're not going to feel cold in this at all as you move into those colder months. And those were the pieces that I chose for the pre-fall collection. With that said, let me know in the comments if you want more Sezane hauls, because I'm very happy to do them. Honestly, it's one of the closest brands to my personal taste that's out there, so it's just very effortless and something that I really enjoy. Also, let me know which piece was your favorite, and if you chose to buy any of them, and what your review is if you've received them, if you absolutely love this piece, or any details that I didn't cover. But at this point, the video is getting a little bit long, so I'm going to end it here. And I just want to say also thank you to anybody who checked in on me the past couple weeks. I took some time off of YouTube because I went on vacation. I was ready to tape, and then I got the flu for like a week, so all better now. But yeah, we have a lot more of videos to do that we need to catch up on. So don't forget to turn on notifications if you want to hear more from me and different videos that I have coming up for fall styling. And I will see you in the next video.